Hey guys, Ryno Bones here with a review of the Likebook Mars. I've been putting this off for a while, not for any particular reason, just I thought there wasn't much I could say that hadn't already been said. But maybe there is. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of the device and give you my thoughts after having used this daily since I opened it up on Christmas. As you can see, here's the case, and it's already broken. Big hunk of it fell off just a couple of days ago. This barely ever leaves the house. This usually stays in my bedroom on my nightstand, and it's never been dropped. So the fact that the case broke, that kind of bugs me. So let's get it started up, and I'll tell you a little bit about the device. One thing I want to mention, I've updated to the latest firmware, and loading time is ridiculously long. I'm going to push the power button, and I will set a timer up on the screen and show you just how long it takes to load up. My wife's device, which is not on this firmware, I think I'm on 1.06 and she's on 1.04. Her device takes maybe 15 to 20 seconds, possibly a lot less than that. About half the time mine takes, so here we go. Alright, so that took almost an entire minute to turn on. It's ridiculous how long it takes. As you can see, I am not using the launcher that came installed with this, mainly because I don't like how that launcher works. I don't like much about it at all. What I am using is the Google launcher. That way I've got the apps that I use on a daily basis down here at the bottom, and I don't have a lot of clutter. But just for the sake of argument, I am going to turn on the old home screen. Let's see here. You can see it is pretty responsive. So here's the home screen. This is the one that comes stock with the system. It's very user-friendly, but you can see I've read 0 minutes on it. Well, 11 minutes total since December. Yeah, I just don't much care for it. It does have a nice space for the apps. It's got a home tab, a books tab, and an apps tab. Up here we've got the home button. Get this hair out of the way. Back button and a refresh button, and this button right here is like A2 mode, which means it makes the screen not refresh in between pages. That's pretty good. It really speeds things up. But yeah, I mean, what's the point when the apps I use refresh whenever they feel like it, and they do a great job. So yeah, here's the main screen. I'm going to click books and just see what happens. It locks up. Nothing will be done whenever I click the books tab. Now, this is specific to my device. My wife's device doesn't have that problem. When she clicks books, it brings up a screen with all of her books. When I click books, it locks up the operating system. Don't know why. Boya OS is not responding. You want to close it? Absolutely. Alright, let's go back to it. This time I'm not going to click the books tab. I'm just going to go and open up a book and show you what it's like, the reading experience. It does load up really fast. It looks great. I do have other fonts installed, so this is the font from the Kindle. Yeah, it looks great. Battery is indicated down here. Time is indicated down here. My battery right now is at about 50%, and I haven't charged it in about 2.5 weeks. Battery life on this thing is fantastic for what it is. Since this is an Android tablet, essentially, to have this good of battery life is really neat. Let's go into some of the settings here. We can go through the chapters. We've got the different fonts that we can pick. I just have my favorite ones installed. Font sizes. You can see response time is super fast. It just jumps to the page. You can set the typeset. I like to have mine kind of narrow. Contrast can be set. I've got mine set pretty low for both of them. Auto page turning can be set. I don't like to use this because sometimes I'm going to be on a page for a little while longer if there's something unusual and I want to reread it a couple of times. And of course you can change it to landscape, which is kind of handy because the power button is down here at the bottom. So if you're holding this in your lap, there's a good chance you could hit that power button and turn the screen off. And of course we've got our regular reading settings here. Refresh frequency every 15 pages. I've got it set on ordinary mode. You can tell where you want to press on a screen to do what action, and it tells you a few more options there. I'm not a big fan of this. This is really my least favorite thing about the system. So back on the regular home screen, I don't like it. That's why I installed Google Launcher. That's why I installed my own apps. So let's go to Apps. And I'm going to go, oh, I guess I could just push the home button. Yeah. So one thing you'll notice is the screen is black back there. And that's appears to be a bug in the system. You cannot set a wallpaper, which is kind of a shame because I've got some fun ones that I like to use. That's one of them. And I wish that I could set something like that as the background. Instead, I can only put it as the, like, standby screen, which I guess is okay. So I've got the regular Kindle app installed. I've got the eReader Prestigio installed. Perfect Viewer, Google News, Pandora, and I've got a couple of app stores, just the Google Play App Store and the Good eReader App Store. Totally recommend the Good eReader App Store. They've got lots of great apps just for e-reading devices. So yeah, that's great. Let's check out the Kindle. Now, because my family has been using Kindles off and on for the past, I don't know, half a decade, really, longer than that, I've got a lot of books in the Kindle library, and I get more just about every other day. You might check out this website, I'll put a link in the description, called Book Freak, and they list randomly free books. Sometimes the books stay on the list for a really long time, sometimes they're brand new ones. Just depends on when you check, and I get lots of cool books from it. So yeah, this works just like the regular Kindle app, because it is the regular Kindle app. I really enjoy it. Now, it is kind of slow doing that. Yeah, no internet connection, I know. It is kind of slow doing that because I don't have it on the different mode. If I change the mode there... Oh, wrong button. If I change the mode there, then it moves by a lot quicker. You can see it just scrolls almost like a normal tablet. Yeah, I know I don't have any internet. Okay, so Kindle app works perfectly. It's just like you would expect. I use eReader Prestigio. I'm going to turn off that A2 mode. And it does take a little bit to load this app up, but also you got to remember I've got lots of books in the system. So it's also reading through the cache. But yeah, works really well. This is my preferred app. I do have it set with the same font I have the other one with, except this has a lot more options. So I would highly recommend using eReader Prestigio for this device. It runs a lot faster and a lot better than some of the other ebook apps. Perfect Viewer. The reason I use Perfect Viewer is because it's a lot less resource heavy than some of the other comic book readers I've used. For instance, I've used Comic Rack and it's incredibly slow. I sure hope I still got some comics on here. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, I've got a few comics. Let's open up the Labyrinth 2017 special. So yeah, Perfect Viewer. It does look fine. It looks wonderful, really. And depending on how you're reading it, it's highly legible. You can see here, I can read everything on the screen, but I am also zoomed in a little bit. If I have it set to the normal size, like just to fill the page, that's when it kind of gets a little bit difficult to read. So I do like to zoom in. I do like to have a little bit of leeway with it. I wish I had a bigger screen, really. So yeah, comic book reading experience is okay. Like I said, you do have to zoom, but the refresh rate's quick enough that it doesn't matter too much. Google News works as expected. Pandora works wonderful on here. There is no built-in speaker. Instead, at the bottom, you have a 3.5 millimeter jack, so you connect it up to something else, your headphones, for instance, or it does have Bluetooth, so you can turn on Bluetooth, and you can use this as just a standalone Bluetooth player. And pardon my screen for being a little bit dusty. I didn't clean it off before I brought it in for my review. And, you know, that just goes to show I actually do use this. I use this every single night. I use it for maybe 3 hours a day. All in all, this is my favorite e-reader I've ever had. I know I've had a lot of bad stuff to say about it, but the bad stuff all has to do with their software. It has nothing to do with the device itself. This device is fantastic. If you have it on the older firmware, like 1.04, 1.05, keep it there. Don't upgrade yet to 1.06 because that definitely slows it down. The perk to 1.06 is it adds the recent button. That's really the only difference I've noticed. But yeah, so there's my official review of the Likebook Mars. Hopefully you enjoyed watching. Stay tuned for more. I do plan on having my Dodo Cool MP3 player review pretty soon. I'm still putting it through the paces, and I've decided I kind of like it. So yeah, stay tuned for more. Bye!